Sometimes the most terrifying places on the planet are just hiding in plain sight. You would never expect that a fun-loving city like New Orleans would be packed full of ghosts, but guess again, because that is one of the most haunted places on the planet, and that is why we covered it in part 1 of this series. Hello again, Most Amazing Top 10 family, I'm your host Jade Arena, and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. Today we will be diving deeper into the creepy things that are chilling right in front of you with our list of top 10 innocent looking locations that contain Great Evil Part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, then you should go check that out right now, because you can't start a series of the sequel, that's not how things work. And make sure you check out our new channel, Top 10 Central Vibe. It's our comedy reaction channel and it's me all the time. Check out a clip here. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. Coming in at number 10, we have CASA, LOMA, Toronto, Canada. Let's kick off the list with a local legend. CASA LOMA is one of the most famous haunted locations in all of Canada, and at first glance, this place is gorgeous. It's a massive castle that looks like it was built for the sheer reason of hosting massive parties and getting everyone lit. It's sitting on a massive hill that oversees most of Toronto. If you were at the peak of this castle when it was built, you could probably see all the way down to the water with that view. It would have been so breathtaking that it would make a single tear run down your face while you let go of the social standards that say men shouldn't cry. But as I've already mentioned, even though this place is absolutely gorgeous, it is insanely haunted. There's a plethora of ghosts that have been seen haunting this place, both inside and outside of the castle, and there are secret tunnels that run underneath the castle that apparently were used for nefarious things. And there was a tunnel collapse that killed a bunch of people, so you can bet that the spirits roaming around this structure have a bad attitude. Coming in at number 9, we have Devil's Pool, Babadina, Queensland, Australia. I mean, it's called Devil's Pool, so it should be no surprise that this place contains a great evil. But when you take the nature hike through the beautiful forest to arrive at the rushing rapids that is the Devil's Pool, you will think you just walked through the gates of Narnia and a magical wizard is going to give you a gift basket full of love. But then you'll learn about the history and you're going to be like, we should turn back right now before we all end up dead. So the story goes that there was an Aboriginal woman who was deeply in love with a man back in the 1950s. They were planning to run away together, but her lover was arrested and taken away from her before they had the chance to elope. She was lovesick and heartbroken, so she decided that her life was not worth living and she drowned herself in the rapids, but not before she put a curse on the area. Anyone who falls into the waters is doomed to die, and while not every last person who has entered the rapids has come up dead, at least 17 people have had their lives stripped away by the rocks and gushing water. Coming in at number 8, we have the Tower of London, one of the most exquisite pieces of architecture sitting in London. Just looking at it makes you feel like royalty, and you would suspect that only the finest men would climb the tower and look over the city of London to make sure that everyone was safe. Well, that's what you would think if you didn't know anything about history. This is actually the site where King Henry killed 2 of his wives, and there's apparently a ghost that will come out in the middle of the night on a full moon and pull a beating heart out of the ground. Yeah, I don't know what you at home consider evil, but a ghost that can pull organs out of the earth is pretty sinister to me. Coming in at number 7, we have the Winchester Mystery House, San Jose, USA. The house that was built by the wife of William Winchester, the man who created the Winchester rifle. It's a massive mansion that makes you want to run out and invent something so you can build a structure just as magnificent. William's wife was a superstitious woman who was worried that the people who were killed by her husband's weapon of war would come back to seek revenge, so she had a home built that's full of strange mazes. There's staircases that lead to nowhere and secret passages all over the place. And good thing she built it, because apparently there's a ton of vengeful spirits that spend their days walking through the building trying to seek revenge. Coming in at number 6, we have the RMS Queen Mary, Long Beach, California. A massive luxury liner that actually served in World War II. Once it was finished being a war vessel, the ship was quickly turned into an affluent cruiser and now sits on the shores of Long Beach, stationed as a hotel. Not a bad life for a ship, especially one that served in war. But with all the glitz and glam that this ship presents, there is a dark heart sitting at the core. There was a murder of a sailor in the ship's engine room that turned the location into the most haunted section of the boat. The angry spirit of the fallen sailor is said to kick up quite a storm when anyone anyone ventures too close. Also, the ghosts of children who have drowned in the liner's pool have been seen running through the halls. Coming at number 5, we have the BHANGARH Fort, India. Even though some of it is a wasteland, there can be beauty found in this desert. The bronze sand stretches for miles in every direction, housing animals and insects brave enough to challenge the harsh conditions. And if you are brave enough to trek through the desert in Rajasthan, then you might be unlucky enough to make it all the way to BHANGARH Fort. This once wondrous city now sits in rubble thanks to the alleged curse that corrupts the grounds. Legend says that a wizard fell in love with a princess sequestered in the fort. He wished to take her hand in marriage and would use magic to seduce his bride-to-be. But when she circumvented his trickery, he cursed the land, and any person who would dare to enter the land at night would not return after daybreak. Coming in at number 4, we have the MONTE CRISTO Homestead in New South Wales, Australia. At first glance, you might be bewitched by the beauty of this building, but it would only take you a moment after you pass through these doors to feel the ominous chill that envelops this home. The building has the presence of an old British home that was built for you to enjoy the sunrise and exotic landscape of Australia, but perhaps being built on stolen land brought darkness to the residents that no one has been able to escape. The list of horrors that have taken place here stretch long, and some of the most brutal are a boy being burned alive and a baby being thrown down a set of stairs. Both of these tragedies apparently were caused by supernatural forces. It's still unknown why the spirits here are so hostile. Some people think it could be the former owners of the home who reject anyone who tries to take their place, or it could be an ancient curse that is trying to keep the land barren. But whatever it is, you should stay far, far away from this place. Coming in number 3, we have LAWANG, SEWU, Indonesia, a massive structure that has stood the test of time. This thing has been hanging around since before the Second World War, and the Victorian looking structure is elegant and would make you think that princes and princesses have roamed here while traveling through Southeast Asia. When I look at this building, I think of long ball gowns and elbow-high silk gloves, but the wonders of this engineering marvel are cut short when you find out what took place in here during World War II. The Japanese invaded and quickly turned the once charming structure and transformed it into a torture den. Executions and interrogations would take place in the basement of the building, and it said that many people took their own life on the property. Now the place is haunted by more ghosts than you can count. Many of them are headless. Also, there are rumors that the Kuntilanak calls this place home, which is a horrible phantom that will feed on your life force. Coming at number 2, we have the OBVODNY Canal, St. Petersburg, Russia. Dazzling still water runs through St. Petersburg. On a calm day, the canal can look so perfect you might mistake it for a mirror. But be careful when you look into the water because you might see the lady in white. Even though the canal still looks like it was created to celebrate life, it has been cursed with quite the opposite. The nickname given to this spooky spot is Canal. For some reason, it seems that people are drawn to this place when they want to take their own life. Most of the people who jump into the canal are successful, but the people who are rescued usually have the same response. They talk about how they don't know why they did it. They feel as if something was drawing them in to jump into the water. Some people say they have seen the previously mentioned lady in white floating under the surface. And the haunting tales of this place go all the way back to the construction of the canal. Back when the canal was being built, construction workers would randomly attack each other, and they said they would hear voices. And coming into the number 1 spot, we have the Ancient Ram Inn, Waddington under the Edge, UK. A cozy little inn that has been around for almost 1,000 years. How do you keep a business going for that long? I can barely keep a plant alive for more than a week, and somehow this inn has been going on for longer than an empire. And when you look at it, it looks like it was pulled right out of The Hobbit. You would expect to walk into this inn and be greeted by a barmaid who has a huge smile, gives you a backhanded compliment, and then you both laugh and get wasted on the best beer that you've ever tasted for $2 a pint. Really, it seems like it was pulled out of a dream. But when you find out that it's not only super haunted, but there are things haunting this place that are simultaneously aggressive and terrifying, then you will never want to come visit this travel spot. Apparently, the inn was built on a pagan burial ground, and people used to come here to sacrifice children for rituals. Wow, that sounds warm and fuzzy. Well, some of the ghosts of these sacrificial kids now call this place home, and they are in constant terror. People will see visions of screaming kids who are in terror either from reliving their death or because they are being terrorized by a demon that lives on the residence. Yeah, if ghost kids weren't enough to freak you out, what about a demon that has been walking around and will sometimes push people down to the floor or onto beds? Yeah, this place sounds terrifying. Alright guys, that is all we have for you today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I have been your host, Jade Arena, and watch out where you're traveling. Sometimes it's cute and it can still be deadly. Bye. After you pass through the doors for you to feel the omniant Omnious. For you to feel the ominous chill that envelopes this home. Envelops this home. Built for you to enjoy the sunrise and erotic landscape of Australia. Erotic? Exotic.